Hello everybody, it's Divine Couture. I am coming live and look, I'm on this fantastic construction. Today I'm here with Steve Peterson and Paul Chambers, and we are going to be looking at a great property on 73rd, and I'm going to show you more about it. Here we go. I can barely see because there's so much light here. There we are. So this is a really fantastic space. We're going to let Steve tell us more about it, but this is going to be a new development that they're going to do here. So it's going to be very exciting. We're going to have Steve talk to us a little bit more about what's going on here. This is 2544 73rd Street there. And these are the gentlemen here. So... Hi guys, gentlemen, how are you?
Fantastic. How y'all doing out there?
Well, we've got Steve here and we've got Mr. Paul Chambers, and we're going to be talking a little bit about this property.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is an amazing site, a historic site. The old Soulbeat building and site here on 73rd, right across from Eastmont Mall. It's a historic site here in Oakland, and this is exciting. Something we've been working on for 2 years. Paul closed on this property next door. Literally 2 years, I think almost to the day.
Right.
Today's the 17th. It might be a couple days off, but I'm closing on that property, which is going to be a barbecue restaurant. And we were in contract on this one January 2020.
Exactly, right before the pandemic.
And what happened is the owner of the property, of this property, the Soulbeat site, which is different from the neighboring site, he passed away in the middle of escrow. And what that did is when you die, what's called intestate, without a will or trust, property goes in probate, and that's what happened. So we closed this property first week of November, and it took from January 2020 to November 2021 to get this done. But it was well worth the wait. And Paul Chambers was my mentor, a legend in the construction business here in Oakland, and a developer, an investor. It's got a lot of experience, and you got the vision. I want to hear you guys, Paul, talk about the vision for this place and the potential, what it means for real estate community here, what it means for the Black community here in East Oakland, and just the overall business environment for East Oakland. Paul, kind of, tell them a little bit about what your vision is.
Well, the vision is to create not only businesses that will be here, but it also will create event space, then also community space. Because there's a lot of housing that I see that's going on in the community that's doing affordable housing, but nobody's really addressing a lot of sites on building a community.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. It starts with the individual, it starts with the family, and it starts with the community. All those things come together. So we created in East Oakland a site that would address all the needs and issues, but also just sustain itself with businesses. So over on this one site, that portion of the site that we have over here, we'll be putting in probably about 8 ghost kitchens. Then from those ghost kitchens, that will be self-sustaining. But those businesses that will lease out those kitchen spaces would have the opportunity to also be able to lease out the outdoor event space that we're standing at this point, which is probably about 5,000 square feet. That will service about 400 individuals that would come here for an event. On this rear wall that we have here, we're combining it with shipping containers, and there will be 2-story shipping containers. So along on this wall here, there will be a stage, sound system, outside event space. So then next door, we have a 3-story restaurant. So this restaurant is going to go up 3 stories, of course. But the goal is to be able to have individuals that would have businesses here to have the opportunity to run their ghost kitchen. They have the opportunity to lease outdoor space. Then they also have opportunity to lease a restaurant.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right. So we're doing that within the time frame, that we will have 4 or 5 vendors come in.
Yep.
Yeah. But this will give them a platform to start, for they know what it would take to run their business solely as a ghost kitchen, to run their business for an outdoor event space, then also with a taste of what it's like to run a whole restaurant.
Right.
So that's the goal. Yeah.
That is so wonderful. Oakland, are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I am.
Right.
We are.
Yeah, I know we've been working on this for a minute.
Yes.
Yes.
That's been the vision.
And just like what you were saying, look, as Paul was breaking this down and talking about the different businesses and the phases of the businesses, right? And I think a lot of times it's tough just to start getting going. And once you get going, you have success. Now it's like the next stage. What's the next level? And so I think a big part of this vision is building the foundation for economic progression. So many programs that are out there may help you with one element of things.
Exactly.
And we want this space to be kind of holistic, from grassroots, from the beginning to ending, to sustainable business success. And I think that's very, very important, but it's also very possible, especially if we're talking about phasing it out, right? And having space where people can start with a ghost kitchen or have their ghost kitchen, and there's outdoor space, there's event space, there's an actual restaurant space, there's flex space. And then what you were saying and what Paul's vision is to help these businesses become, okay, well now maybe it's time to move from here to going down to Jack London. While maintaining the fact that, hey, the next business can come on here and get to start from this spot. So this spot will always be activated. And just think about the revenue that will be generated here on 73rd, and that was going to go directly into the community. And I think that's what's important as we talk about this site is, number one, people from East Oakland, Paul, Chambers Construction, Steve Peters, Infinity Investments, people and companies and resources from East Oakland, then investing into East Oakland, it becomes a little bit of a different nuance than when outside forces come in and invest. Right. So that's something that people can see, entrepreneurs can see, the community can see, and I think it set forth a model for how economic sustainability can be executed in the Black community.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. We have a few people joining us. Would you mind giving us a little bit of tour?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Take it through. Paul, walk it through.
You guys, should we close that a little bit? I'm sorry, we are from Oakland. We're like, we might need to close that. I got to focus on filming, not getting jacked today. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. It's Divine Couture, it's Mr. Paul Chambers and Steve Peterson, and we are at a project coming on 73rd, and they're going to tell us about it.
All right. Originally, this site has a lot of history. If you remember the old Jack London Studios, the first exercise, this was his original site here.
Oh, wow.
All right. So it had, a pool room and things like that. Then what really kind of touched our heart, it kind of tied into the Soul Beat. Soul Beat was a television network system that went out for the African American community. It put a lot of businesses and individuals on the platform. MC Hammer, Too Short, Linnell, Mark Curry, all of those came through Soul Beat as their first public venture to try to get out there. So from there, we wanted to tie in and create. His system was a community. So we're taking part of that and part of what Steve and I have done since we've been in business. So the beginning of this site here, this is where commercial kitchens are going to go in place. And there will be 2 stories with the event space actually at the top, the open air event space. On the bottom, this is where all the commercial kitchens will be, approximately about 8 going along this wall. And we're keeping these 2 large palm trees. And from these palm trees, you can see all the way from here to the Oakland Hills and then all the way down to close to the Coliseum. So this is going to be our landmark.
Oh, wow. Like, okay, the 2 palm trees.
Right. Yep.
Are we going to have to climb up there and put something in there?
Well, actually, we're going to run lights up shortly.
Okay,
There'll be
wonderful.
lights going up, and that kind of signifies that we're underway of the project.
That is so beautiful. That's going to be wonderful.
So from this side here, we'll have the ADA and public restrooms. So we're going to retain this building. Then this corner portion that we have over here, this is where our social media is going. We're combining a local vendor that does shipping containers, and those shipping containers creates indoor space. So we're going to create our social media portion that's going to be set right in this corner. Then to the right of this rear space over here, we're visualizing maybe like in combining this outdoor space along with this outdoor space here, maybe like a beer garden, and we're looking for African American vendors that would come in and provide that service.
Okay, we're looking for some African American beer vendors, guys.
And wine.
And wine.
All right. Then to our right here.
That's my favorite.
To our right here, we'll have a 3-story restaurant.
Oh, wow.
At the bottom, there is restaurant space. Second floor, there will be entertainment space, which will be flexed to this. And this building is approximately about 3,000 square feet. And this top level, the third floor, which you can see all the way from the Oakland Hills, all the way down to the Coliseum. This will be also a flex space, but it also will be a possibility to where the event space can be rented out, maybe Airbnb in between spaces. All right. So at that peak of that last beam there, that's all open deck. So that's an open air deck that will be at the top.
That's going to be so gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
All right.
One of a kind.
Then along this section here, this wall, there is 2 more shipping containers. But at the base of the containers, there will be a stage set up. All right. So, and it'll be looking out towards the 2 palm trees. Then above, there will be another shipping container, but we're putting in maybe another flex space or more like art galleries and things like that. Because what we really want to emphasize is the beauty, the growth of East Oakland, the individuals who came through East Oakland, and to let them know that this was the mark. So we'll be having different photos and information on here that told about African Americans who lived in Oakland and went on to thrive, and the businesses that were here. So everything on 7th Street, all the basketball players, entertainers. What is that? RQ code or
QR code?
QR code.
There it is.
So we have QR codes all over the site.
Okay.
So that gives information about the Orbit Room, when James Brown used to come here and entertain on 7th Street. All that history that is kind of going away, because due to design, they didn't bring the information from 7th Street, West Oakland to East Oakland.
Right.
So, but we want to make sure that I didn't start what we're doing here, that it was already established.
Right.
Only thing I'm doing is going back in history, because I believe that in order to make changes in our present and our future, we have to understand and embrace the past, understand why we are in the conditions in the present, then from there move that to the future. Only then we can make change. We have to embrace it all.
Right.
And that's what this site is going to do. And we're also looking to, if we can, bring in some of the local sports leagues. Oakland Dynamites, which Steve is
that's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, he's a coach there. And we want this to be like a hub for the youth. So in between time, on our social media, we'll be interviewing maybe little Johnny, who is now 6 years old, and he'll be interviewing about the football plays and what he feels. So we want this to be a home and a hub. Then that way, because if we can touch the children, we can touch the parents, then we can touch the community, and to let them know this is a vested interest, so everybody has a part in this.
Now, will this still remain kind of enclosed?
This wall will be enclosed.
Okay.
And of course we'll be dressing up a little bit better than that.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be looking A1. But this from this wall there will be an entryway here, this opening where this gate is, this will be retained, and we're coming through there. This will be approximately a 5,000 square foot open space.
Wow.
That will probably at a seating of about 400 people who can sit in this event space. And the restaurant has capacity maybe about 150 to 200 people, and that's maybe including the outdoor rear space. So we want to really set it up to the pop-ups, our local businesses that we're utilizing here, that they can really get a taste of what it is to go to the next level. And that's what we're finding. You know, there's a lot of programs that are out there, but they'll take you to point A to point B. Then you kind of set. But due to funding, you have to wait to the next step.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is bring it in to where not only the businesses that will be leasing out this space here, there are other businesses that can come in and utilize the open space, and we can have the event space. And from that event space, now you have 8 different vendors that you can pick for from everything's on site.
That's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful.
Amazing. And Paul, you know this takes time, right? Through the planning process. How long do you think from where we are now to where we open up? Realistically, you think we're talking 6 months, a year, 9 months? You know, we and you guys know projects, sometimes things take longer. We dealing with the city of Oakland and the logistics and red tape with that. But just in general, what do you see as a vision, and so people can start getting the ideas of when this might come to life?
Well, we're in the planning stages, dealing with the city right now, and putting together proposals. The restaurant portion is already approved because that was a project that was already started and finished. So that's kind of like already in the queue. But due to the pandemic, we lost a year or so there, and due to the death of Peter, which is the original owner of this site here, you know, that was delayed. So I would say, realistically, the goal is, to me, 12 to 18 months. That's my goal to get it happen. So it's just a matter of how long it's going to have to go through the process.
Right.
But I think we have enough support from the community. We'll have enough support from the community leaders, and we're asking each and every one of those individuals that you see this, and this is why we're coming here and trying to make a major impact. For it's not something that's talked about and never really happens. If it does happen, it's not a quality.
Right.
Yeah. And the goal that we're doing, and also I have another foundation, which is the Black Clover Foundation. It's all about entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
So we're bringing some of the for-profit along with the non-profit, combine those things together and make it happen. Because sometimes you go too much on the non-profit side, it goes a little bit slower.
Right.
But for-profit, you know, we'll make it happen.
And then make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think with the community, and we're asking each and every person who's viewing this, if you have any input, please let us know.
Yeah.
But we're asking for your support.
Okay, awesome. Hold this for a second.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is Mr. Taylor's. Hey guys, I just like to make an appearance. So Mr. Taylor, can you just give us a little bit of background? Your staple in Oakland, a little bit of background about your past and how you got to be here.
Well, originally, my family's from Oakland, from Oklahoma. And my mom always has a saying that we were PO in Oklahoma, and we got our OR when we got to California. So we were literally poor.
Okay.
So the principles that I grew up with was food, water, shelter, and seed, time, and harvest. So food, water, shelter was the things that if we can control that, we can do anything. But where we plant our seeds, what the time is, we have to know the harvest. Yeah. So my father got licensed in Oakland, California in 1972. In 1972, he was a general contractor, and but at that time, you know, it was a family business. So myself, Della Chambers, which is now Della Brewer now, and myself and my mom, and we all came together and said, these are the visions that we wanted to have. But we knew that having ownership and control over your assets made a big difference on what how you stood and what your vote was.
Right.
So some things we had to do unconventional, meaning that, if we went through the regular streams, it didn't happen. With numerous of renovations, projects, some of the projects that's local here is Acts Full Gospel. We built their restaurant, Soul Food, a restaurant on 64th Avenue from the ground up. We have done, there is in West Oakland, between 14th, 15th, and 16th, between Market and West, we developed 2 blocks there, and we built mostly duplexes, And we're kind of a little bit ahead of our time, because at that time we built the 2 units to where they were both owner occupied. And what was impactful, we had maybe 95% of African Americans working on that project.
Right.
Yeah, from start to finish. So
is
that made a big difference. So my mother and father were always, and family members were really active on, you know, what can you do, not just waiting on somebody else to do something for you. Right. And I have 4 or 5 uncles that are here in the Bay Area. Clarence Chambers, O.B. Chambers, Isaac Chambers, and then I have an abundance of young cousins that I work with and mentor too.
Wow.
So, but along that, we have done that, schools for development disabled, outside other programs, and we worked in other cities and other states also. So, but the goal is, you know, it's all about the individual.
Right.
And it starts with you.
Yeah.
And exposure. I'm real big on exposing as children to many things outside of your circle as possible, and travel, and to get that information out there. Because again, it's controlling your food, water, and shelter, which no one has to tell you where to put your seed time and harvest. So whether that's business, personal, or relationship. So that's kind of a little bit in a nutshell of what we have, but that is the grounding, and and that is my ground. And we from that kind of puts together the principles, and those phases of principles we have incorporated in the Black Clover Foundation.
Okay.
And it's all about entrepreneurship.
That is so awesome. I'm so like, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm going to get off of here, Mr. Chambers, so we can actually talk. Let me see. Okay, guys, thank you so much. That's Mr. Chambers, that's Steve and I, and we really appreciate you joining DK by the Bay on this channel. We talk all about commercial real estate, and we hope that you have a happy holidays, and please tune in again next time. Cheers.